Hey guys, Dr. Taylor here. Welcome back to another. We're watching top 10 things DC wants you to forget about the Joker from what Doctor. The Joker's my favorite character in the whole DC universe. Now let's just get into it.
Hey look, Ben Potter, I can do these lists too. The Clown Prince of Crime, the Harlequin of Hate, the Jester of Genocide, the Ace of Knaves, the Man Who Laughs. The only character in comics to have as varied and convoluted a history as Batman himself is his arch nemesis, the Joker. He has lots of nicknames and he's top billed of all of Batman's villains. He has a cult following all of his own and a 60-year legacy that makes him one of the most iconic fictional characters ever. And inevitably, over that length of time, Mr. J is going to get up to stuff that's no laughing matter. Thank God his backstory is as nebulous as Joker gas, because some of his lunacy don't add up. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 things DC Comics want you to forget about the Joker. Number 10, he was repeatedly killed off. In the early years, the Clown Prince of Crime was very much the Kenny to Gotham City's South Park. In fact, he was very almost killed off at the end of his first appearance in Batman issue 1 in 1940, accidentally stabbing himself following a suitably macabre story where he kills high-powered businessmen using poison playing cards and time delay lethal injections.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Back.
Damn 1940, you nasty. Mercifully, the editors at DC knew they were onto something and forbade the writers from pulling the trigger before they'd had a chance to properly exploit the character, adding a panel to the final page of the comic assuring fans Joker was going to live. And live he has, despite being bumped off so many times, from being left to perish in flames, to being struck by lightning, being buried in rubble, actually being executed by the state, accidentally getting flattened by a train. He always returns, often with no explanation, except ha ha ha, I guess.
Don't mess with me, pork chop. What day is this?
Number 9, the real end of the Killing Joke. Alan Moore's Killing Joke is a treasured part of Batman's canon, despite the writer himself never actually liking the story, citing it as, quote, too nasty, too physically violent. And it's certainly that, with Barbara Gordon crippled and implicitly sexually assaulted by the Joker. Not only that, but fans have theorized that the ending alludes to something very grim. As police sirens approach, Joker tells Batsy a gag, and the two men actually share a laugh, which I imagine made Barbara Gordon say, hey, what the fuck, man? There's a prevalent fan theory that in fact Batman kills the Joker on this page for good, strangling him in the rain. Noted comic scribe and bald lunatic Grant Morrison believes in this theory, with the laughter of both men cutting out while the sirens still remain on the page, suggesting that Batman has finally ended the green-haired villain's giggles for good. Of course, that was never fully confirmed because the events of the Killing Joke, namely Babs being crippled, were made part of official continuity, and well, you can't officially kill the Joker, can you? Number 8, he used to have fun. Gosh, the Joker's a dick, isn't he? He's always been something of a shitbag, but recently it's all gone very horrible. He let his own face be cut off by a villain called the Dollmaker, and then started wearing it as a rotting mask. Remember when comics were for the whole family and not just the weird teens who wanted to see Batman break a heroin dealer's legs?
Where were the other drugs going? I never knew.
Well, in the Silver Age, when the Comics Code kicked in, the Joker cleaned up his act and spent most of his time engaging in pranks, japes, and otherwise innocently winding up Batman and Robin rather than killing people. The more grisly incarnation of the character is the one that stuck, especially after Heath Ledger's incredible performance in the Dark Knight movie, but there was once a time when the Joker was actually fun. However, weirdly, DC might not actually want you to forget this. After all, the Silver Age is sort of treasured, and they're actually doing a storyline at the moment about there being 3 Jokers, a different one from all the timelines that they're folding into each other, which they keep doing, for fuck's sake, DC. Calm down with your continuity-shattering, fucking constant revisionist reboot bollocks. Fuck! And one of those 3 Jokers, it looks like, is a Silver Age Joker. So, fun again. Maybe? I don't know. Is he still not wearing his own face? He kills people with knives. I don't know. Fun, I guess. Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Number 7, his decade off. Look, we all need a holiday from time to time, a chance to escape the perpetual grind of our goddamn awful lives, the collective existence of man being that one sick joke, and why can't you see the funny side? Why aren't you laughing? Well, the Joker felt that way and, like Ross and Rachel, decided to go on a break, one that lasted nearly 10 years. Between 1964 and 1973, the Joker didn't appear in a single DC comic because the overarching editor at the time, Julius Schwartz, thought the character had become creatively stagnant. Considering that he's one of the cornerstones of modern comics, the fact that DC had no faith in the character might be something they'd like to keep hush. That is another reference to a Batman villain. I'm a nerd. Number 6, his terrible sidekicks. Sidekicks in comic books range from the excellent, like Batman's Robin, to the awful, like Wonder Woman's Etta Candy, boom boom, to the really quite racist, like Green Lantern's Inuit pal who he called Pieface. Oh no. The Joker's long-forgotten midget sidekick falls squarely into the terrible camp. His name, Gagsworth A. Gagsworthy, or Gaggy for short. Pun not intended. The word short, sorry. He hung around with Mr. J and existed solely to make him laugh with gags, inspiring him to do a series of nonsense crimes like stealing a steeple. No, really. Gaggy had only one superpower. He was able to shatter glass with a supersonic scream. Oh great! Annoying and loud. Sign me up! Possibly because he was objectively terrible, Gagsworth has been mostly consigned to history, especially since Joker got a sidekick that everyone likes in the form of Harley Quinn, so maybe they want you to forget about him. Also, he beat Robin in a fight once by headbutting him, and that's just embarrassing. Number 5, his daughter was everyone's daughter. Right, let me make sense of that. There's a character called Joella Dent who mostly appeared in the New 52 as a psycho living in the sewers, worshipping the Joker so much she makes a deal with a doll maker to have his missing face sewn over her own. Oh, comics, you're adorable. But back in the day, the girl claiming to be the Joker's daughter was a lot less weird and a lot more innocent. Not only that, but at one point she was basically everyone's daughter. She claimed to be the daughter of Catwoman, Scarecrow, the Riddler, the Penguin, Doomsday, I don't want to imagine the sexy times that would entail, Dr. Light, and Two-Face. Christ, she really gets around. Even though her existence was originally a cheap gag, she's actually got one of the most complicated backstories in comics. She's travelled through times and reality. Her actual parents might be from different realities. She's been killed, resurrected, has the Joker's blood in her veins, and it's all really weird, guys. And speaking of backstories, number 4, he actually has a backstory. One of the big things about the Joker is no one exactly knows who he is. In The Dark Knight, he has multiple backstories. In The Killing Joke, the backstory of him being an ailing stand-up comic who turned to crime to feed his family is heavily implied to be a big lie. After all, in the tale, he's called Joe Kerr. How can you trust that? The mystery of the Joker's origins is so deep that when it was suggested that Batman would discover his name earlier this year, fans were in uproar. He didn't, BT dubs. However, what DC might want you to misremember is that his backstory sort of was made official back in 1951. In Detective Comics 168, Joker was tied to a chair and revealed his origin story, and it's the most oft-repeated one. He was a lab worker who became a criminal called the Red Hood, who fell into a pool of chemicals during a botched robbery, turning his skin white and his mind insane. That was his official backstory for a while, but that tale, like all of them, had to be retconned to be just one of a bunch of possible origin stories for the Clown Prince of Crime. Number 3, his failed solo series. As much as everyone loves the Joker, turns out there's such a concept as having too much of a good thing. In 1975, a few years after returning from his decade in the wilderness, DC Comics went to the complete other end of the spectrum, doubling down on the malicious jester by giving him his own solo comic series. It ended up being a sort of villain of the week team-up thing, and it didn't take, mostly because the idea of getting to see the Joker's thought bubbles is completely against everything the modern version of the character stands for. It lasted for a mere 9 issues before the Joker took back his rightful place as mysterious villain, rather than inexplicable protagonist. Number 2, his look was totally ripped off. Bill Finger and Bob Kane were classic rip-off merchants, stealing much of Batman's look from The Shadow and taking a similarly lax approach to copyright law when it came to inventing his villains. The pair turned to a 1928 film, The Man Who Laughs, for their inspiration for the Joker. A silent adaptation of Victor Hugo's novel, the German expressionist classic tells the tale of Conrad Veidt Gwynplaine, who is disfigured to him. As long as there's been comics, there's been controversy over who created what, with most of the time the main argument being Stan Lee saying me and everyone else saying, oh, f you, Stan Lee. The Batman's seen his fair share of this upset, with the industry taking decades to fully realise artist Bill Finger as co-creator of the Caped Crusader alongside Bob Kane, and of course, the Joker's been disputed too. Up until his death in 1998, Bob Kane insisted that he and Bill Finger created the Joker, but DC artist Jerry Robinson claimed that it was in fact he who had the inspiration for the Ace of Knaves. Robinson claims that he brought a Joker playing card to Kane and suggested a killing jokester, and while Kane acknowledges that Robinson did come to him with a card, he was resolute until death that Robinson had no further hand in creating the Joker. Hand? Do you get it, like hand of cards? Oh, sorry, we don't like jokes apparently. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to...
Oh yeah. Well, that's the end. Hope you all enjoyed the video. And bye, bye, bye. And so long, and see you later, my tails. Boom. Wait, which give us a few seconds for the subscriptions to go up. To go up right about there, here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to Dr. Tail Storytime, and Astro Chat, which I don't know what's planning over there. I just like to keep him my step away from it. Also, I got good news. Good news for all. This book, it's not beta codes. No. It's a secret until my next vlog. Okay? Bye bye, my tails.